Okay, good morning students. Welcome back again. We were discussing chapter number 8, right? That is natural resources. We understood what natural resources is, and we also saw the use of resources, that is resources as food, resources as a source of raw material, and resources as energy resources. And again we saw a next topic, that is types of resources. Types of resources is again divided into three concepts, that is ownership, availability, and distribution centers. And then we saw the resources which is further being classified on the basis of their distribution, right? That is universal resources, generally available resources, rare resources, and solitary resources. Then we understood, right, the next concept, that is planning and conservation of the resources, right? So we knew now that the resources are limited in nature. The resources are limited in nature. So we have to plan accordingly to use the resources in the maximum way so that the humans can get the maximum benefit out of that resources, right? So we understood that particular paragraph. So now there are some points which have been given in the terms of planning and conservation of resources. What are they? Let's learn. Textbook, page number 60. Let us understand about the planning and conservation of resources in detail. First point. First of all, gather information about the availability of utilized, unutilized, and probable resources of any region or a country as a unit. The first thing that you need to do is to gather the information. How much resources is there, how much we have used, and how much probable resources of any region will be available in the upcoming future. For that, we have to make a planning. Right? Second concept, the resources which are limited, that is, or non-renewable, that means it cannot be reused again, right, should be exploited scientifically and should be used only whenever it is necessary to use them, right? I told you yesterday also, right? For example, petrol, diesel, naphtha, kerosene, all these things which are very rare resources, or you can say the non-renewable resources, which are limited as a gift of nature, that should be used in a maximum possible way so that the next generation will also get the benefits of it, right? Because we are paying a huge price. You know the prices of petrol and diesel, right? 80 rupees almost per liter, right? So this is what it is. It is becoming expensive and expensive day by day, right? And it is even going to touch 100 rupees within upcoming 5 to 10 years because these resources are non-renewable. They are not, they cannot be used again and again, right? And plus, the nature has its own limit in terms of giving this kind of resources. So, my point is, it should be exploited scientifically. That means it should be made in proper research and should be used only whenever it is necessary. Right? So that is point number 2. Point number 3. Attempts should be made to develop those resources, the quantity of which can be increased, right? Attempts should be made, such kind of research, such kind of attempts should be made to develop such resources in the which quantity can be increased. Such resources should be given, more focus where the quantity is available in abundant, right? Where there is lot of quantity, those kind of resources should be given much importance, rather than the resources which are limited in nature, right? So we should make the planning in such a way and find out the resources which is more, and maximum use of that kind of resources should be done, right? Next, point number 4. See, I'll give you one example of point number 3. Now the concept is changing in the terms of railways. Previously, the railways were being run by the coal. Right? Now the electric railways are being, given more importance because it is quite cheaper than the coal. Right? So this is a new concept that has been developed today as per the need or as per the requirement. So now we have made the planning and we know the resources of coal are limited in nature. So we are shifting towards the other concept. Right? Now I'll give you one more example also. Now even the electricity that we use at our own house is becoming more expensive. So now government is focusing or planning to divert the concept to solar plants. Right? Many people today have solar plants in their houses or in their terrace, right? Because the particular solar generates electricity from the sun rays, the heat of the sun rays, and that is quite cheap. That is quite cheap. See, now we are changing as per the technology. Now we are changing as per the needs and requirements of today, right? This is what it is. Because we know the resources are limited, so we have to plan for the other option. That is the point number 3. That is, develop those resources, identify, plan such kind of resources in which the quantity can be increased. The quantity can be increased. Now, if you have a solar plant at your house, right, you may get the full power of electricity because of the sun rays, right? So this is a benefit, and even it stores the power, right? That is a benefit. We should change as per the situations or as per the demand of the particular current situation, right? Point number 4. The resources which are cheaper. The resources which are cheaper and easily available. Sun rays easily available, right? Through sun, through the heat of sun, many things can be done, right? It generates energy. It generates energy. So that is a cheap source. So we should make use of that particular light or sun rays in maximum way in different places, right? This is an example so you can understand this point. The resources which are cheaper and are easily available should not be wasted. It should not be wasted, right? But instead they should be used sparingly for the further use. They should be used in such a way that even it satisfies the needs of the present generation, plus it gives the benefit for the future generation also, right? So this is how we have to plan and conserve the resources. Next, point number 5. These resources which are limited quantity, which are in limited quantity, should be conserved. The resources which are there should be conserved. That means it should be reserved, right? Finding its alternative option through technical development. Finding its alternative option. Coal to run trains. The alternative option is now electricity, right? Electric trains, electric connections through which the train runs, right? So that is an alternative option because coal is limited in nature, right? So that is finding its alternative options through technical development is favorable in the long term. We have to find the option because if we depend on coal throughout the state, that is throughout the entire thing, ke bhai yahan sudhi jetlu che tyan sudhi chalo, not like that. If the particular coal that is available as a resource from nature, if the coal does not, gives its own quantity as per the requirement that the human requires today, because it is a resource, it is limited in nature. If the coal is not available, then because it is a gift of nature, we have to find the alternative option, right? Then only we can sustain, then only we can survive, right? This is what it is. This is what it is. We have to find the options, which is through technical development and which is favorable at the long term for the human beings, right? Next, necessary laws should be formed for the conservation of resources that should be enforced strictly. Laws, that is rules and regulations defined by the government, that should be made in such a way that the resources are conserved or reserved, right? So that whenever they are needed, they can be used. That kind of law should be enforced strictly everywhere for the development of nation. These things should be done. Next, citizens. Now it's our responsibility, right? Citizens should be well acquainted, that is well knowledged, right, with all the facts associated with the rational usage of resources, and a public awareness should be cultivated. Public should be aware, right? Look at current situation right now, right? Still many people, right, are not wearing masks, right? Public is not aware, and they are spreading the virus. This is what it has been believed by the government and by the world, and the virus is spreading just like anything, right? If the public is not aware, right, it would damage us only, directly or indirectly, right? Why I am taking the example of the virus so you can understand, right? If you are not wearing the masks today, someone infected may infect you, and if you are infected, you may infect someone. Right? This would be the situation right now. In resources also it is the same. If you are not active, if you don't know how to use the resources, that means you are wasting the resources. What happens then? The next generation is not able to get that resources as per their requirement because you are wasting it right now. So it is the responsibility of the citizens to use the resources in a maximum possible way so that it can be there, it can be preserved, and again it can give the benefits to the future generations also. Right? So these are some steps in which planning and conservation of resources should be done properly. Right? I hope all the points are clear. Moving towards the next concept, that is soil formation. Soil. Now you know what soil is, right? Reti, mati, JQL. કેવી રીતે form થાય? How the soil is being formed? Generally, the part of the surface of the earth, that is the upper part of the earth, wherein the vegetation grows, right, is known as soil. A place where something grows is known as the soil. Right? The soil is a thin layer. Composed of various elements on the surface of the earth. Various minute elements are there in the soil. It's a science topic, right? If you want to know more about soil, you can consult your science teacher. They'll explain you more in detail what soil is and what are the different elements which are there in soil, which makes something grow or which creates life. Right? The soil is a thin layer of various elements on the surface of the earth. Minerals, humidity, humus, and air are mixed up in it. Right? આ બધી વસ્તુ soil ની અંદર હોય. The parental rocks lie below the soil. Soil is formed due to the material available through denudation. Right? Khatar, biotic remains, humidity, and air gets mixed up with it. આ બધી વસ્તુ mix થાય in the environment or in the particular air, right? In other words, the soil is a natural mixture of minerals and biotic elements which have capacity to grow and develop vegetation. ખાતર નાખવામાં આવે, સ્પ્રે મારવામાં આવે. એગ્રીકલ્ચર જેને વાડી હોય જેમાં કોઈ વસ્તુ વાવી હોય એમાં અલગ અલગ ટાઈપના મિનરલ્સ ને કેમિકલ્સ ને સ્પ્રે મારવામાં so that it can grow abundantly or it can grow very strongly. આ બધું ક્યાં નાખવાનું? માટી, in the soil. Right? So they may get all the elements mixed up and the vegetation grows. This is all about the soil formation. There are different types of soils that we are going to discuss in this chapter, but we should understand what soil is. So I hope this concept is clear. And reading in the second line, if someone asks what is this soil, how it is being formed, you should know, right? Second line, ફરીથી વાંચું છું, ખાસ ધ્યાન આપજો. The soil is a thin layer composed of various elements on the surface of the earth, and that is how the formation of the soil is being done. Right? This is known as soil formation. Next. Now what is soil then? Soil કેવી રીતે ફોર્મ થાય એ તમે સમજો. તો હવે soil શું? What is soil? The uppermost layer of the crust of the earth is called soil. અર્થની ઉપર, જમીનની ઉપર જે છે કણ, માટી, soil is known as soil. Right? Which contains minerals and biotic elements necessary for the growth and development of vegetation. Right? although their proportion is not the same everywhere. Their proportion is not the same everywhere. अलग-अलग जगह अलग-अलग region में अलग-अलग environment में अलग-अलग soils. Right? You might have seen some red soil even in Gujarat. अपना सुरेंद्रनगर में जो एक place है, I don't know the area, but where there is red soil, right? थोड़ा area में भी red soil. कोक जगह एवी है जहाँ black soil है. एवी अलग-अलग types की soil. Right? So this is what it is. Right? That is contains minerals and biotic elements which are necessary for the growth and development of vegetation. Right? Although their proportion is not the same everywhere. Thus, the soil is the layer on the surface of the matter. The soil is the layer on the surface of the matter, that is the earth, formed due to the mixture of the scattered material of parental rocks, pathar, big rocks, right, and the vegetation. Factors of denudations, khatar, right, prepare very thin layer through the denudations of rock, right. ये जो mixture होय, elements होय, नाना नाना केवाय ने, एना different cones होय, ये rocks माथी जे બધું છૂટું પડે, all that kind of things, right? Why I cannot explain you in deep, because it is a formation of nature in the environment, right? હવે એ તમારે એકદમ perfectly study કરવું હોય, so it's a research thing. It's an research thing that you will know when you will see at the bottom of the page where there are different types of soil, right? અત્યારે ખાલી આપણે એક સોઇલ સમજવાનું છે, એ જે અલગ-અલગ ટાઈપની સોઇલ્સ છે એ નીચે આપેલી છે, right? So it has been given in the next concept, right? How the different types of soil is being there, or the different types of soil is there, right? But this is all the scientific process which is being done naturally. My point is, all this concept of soil is a natural resource, which is being done through nature. That is the scattered material of parental rocks and the vegetation. That is factors of denudation prepare thin layer through the deduction of rocks, or the denudations of rocks. The humus formed due to the disintegration or decay of vegetations. Right? Decay, kharab thai geli vastu. Decay of vegetations or insects is added to this. Right? હવે આ જે બધું ખરાબ થઈ ગયેલું છે એ બી વસ્તુ સોઇલમાં એડ થાય છે, right? This biotic elements play an important role in the development of vegetation, right? ઘણી બધી વસ્તુ એવી છે, right, which gets mixed up in the air or in the humidity or in the environment on the upper surface or the crust of the earth, and then the soil is being formed. બસ આપણે SS માં અત્યારે ખાલી આટલું યાદ રાખવાનું, right? This is how the soil is being formed, right? This biotic elements plays an important role in the development of vegetation. The climatic impact. હવે climate મેં જેમ તમને કીધું ને, અલગ-અલગ region માં અલગ-અલગ soils અને અલગ-અલગ climate, right? So the climatic impact in the duration of soil formation is so important and widespread that the soil formed of different types of rocks, right, in the region over a long time is the same. So the soil formed out of the same parental rocks under different climatic influence is different. अलग-अलग जगह, अलग-अलग soil, अलग-अलग rocks, अलग-अलग formation, अलग-अलग climate, अलग-अलग region, अलग-अलग temperature, that creates different types of soils, right? Soils are classified on the basis of their color, climate, parental rocks, that is the background of what kind of soil it is, structure, humus, that is the humidity, etc. આ બધા factors, that is color, climate, parental rocks, that is the previous soil, right, structure, humidity, etc. are the important factors for creating different types of soils. Right? I hope the concept of soil formation and soil is clear. Okay, moving ahead towards the next topic, that is types of soils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 types of soils are there. How many types? 8. We are going to learn each and everything. જ્યાં કહો important lines માં, you have to underline everything, right? So let's begin. First, alluvial soil. This type of soil is spread over 43% of the total area of India. Underline the sentence. Right? Alluvial soil is spreaded around 43%. Around 43% of the total area in India. Right? This soil is found in the northern plains from Brahmaputra Valley in the east up to the Satluj in west. Underline the sentence. This soil is found from the northern plain, that is from the north of India, that is from Brahmaputra Valley in the east, that is up to Satluj in the west, north, east and up to the west, right? And in the delta regions of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri rivers. Right? These are the different places of the rivers where alluvial soil is being found. Right? And in India, it contains or it holds 43% of the total area. It holds 43% of the total area. Right? The formation of alluvial soil is due to the alluvial deposition by the rivers. Our soil can't be formed. How this soil is being formed? This kind of soil, that is the formation of alluvial soil, is due to the depositions of the rivers. Right? The rivers flow high. Rivers are never steady; they always flow. So they take the soil with them. Right? And this is how they are being formed at different places. North to the particular east to the west, right? So this is how the formation is being done, because the river water is in the constant flow and they take the soil with them, right? There is more proportion of potash, phosphoric acid and limestone in this soil, and there is less proportion of nitrogen and humus. Underline that sentence. More proportion of potash, phosphoric acid and limestone, and less proportion of nitrogen and humus. Right? If pulses are grown in this soil, pulses, right? It's a kind of vegetation, right? Pulses. If pulses are grown in this soil, the nitrogen content can be stabilized. Nitrogen content already આ soil ઓછું છે. Now, if the pulses are being grown in this type of soils, right, the particular nitrogen content can be stabilized. That means equal થઈ જશે, or ત્યાં stay થશે, stabilized થશે, right? જે નાઇટ્રોજન કન્ટેન્ટ ઓછું છે આ ટાઈપની સોઇલમાં, તો આવી સોઇલમાં જો આપણે પલ્સીસ ગ્રો કરીએ, so it can be stabilized. That will be there in that soil, right, which is less in proportion. Crops like wheat, paddy, sugar, that is the sugar cane, jute, cotton, maize oil, seeds, etc. can be grown in this soil. Underline the last sentence. Different types of crops that can be grown in this type of soils. So which are the crops? Wheat, paddy, sugarcane, jute, cotton, maize, oil seeds, etc. This is all about alluvial soil. 43% of particular total space and different types of crops or vegetations can be grown. More factor of potash, phosphoric acid and limestone, and less particular proportion, that is of nitrogen and humus. Plus, if we grow pulses in this type of soil, nitrogen can be stabilized, and the other crops which can be grown, that is wheat, paddy, sugarcane, jute, cotton, maize, oilseeds, etc. So this is all about alluvial soil. I hope you understood what it is. Moving towards concept number 2. Second type, red soil. It occupies about 19% of the total land of India. 19. Underline the sentence. Alluvial soil 43%, red soil 19% of the whole India. It is spread from Tamil Nadu in the peninsular India up to Bundelkhand in the north and from Rajmahal Hills in the east up to Kutch in the west. Underline the sentence. Right? I am repeating it again. Khas dhyan rakjo. It is spread from Tamil Nadu. So where is Tamil Nadu? South of India. Right? It is spread from Tamil Nadu in the peninsular India up to Bundelkhand in north. That is from south to north. Niche thi upar sudhi. Right? And from Rajmahal Hills. Rajmahal Hills. That is from east up to Kutch. That is Gujarat in west. South, north, east and west. Everywhere this kind of soil is available, right? Such soil is found in some parts of Rajasthan also, right? This type of soil is even found in Rajasthan also, right? The soil is red in color due to the presence of ferric oxide. Underline the sentence. The soil is red in color due to the presence of ferric oxide. Due to the presence of ferric oxide. And it becomes yellow as we go down, right? As we go down, right? જેમ જેમ વધારે ડેપ્થમાં આપણે રેડ સોઇલમાં ખોદતા જઈએ, we go deep inside the earth, it gets converted into yellow color. ઉપર સરફેસમાં રેડ હોય, પછી જેમ જેમ ડાઉન તમે જાઓ, that means the more you dug in that soil, right? It gets yellow. It gets yellow. Lime, gravel and carbonate are not found in this soil. Underline the sentence again. Lime, gravel and carbonate are not found in this soil. There is a deficiency of lime, magnesium, phosphate, nitrogen and potash in this soil. Deficiency એટલે અછત, right? આ વસ્તુ બહુ ઓછી છે આ રેડ સોઇલ ની અંદર. So which are the things? That is lime, magnesium, phosphate, nitrogen and potash in this soil. Crops like millet, cotton, wheat, jowar, linseed, groundnut, potato, etc. are grown in this soil. Are grown in this soil. Underline the last sentence. Crops like millet, wheat, jowar, linseed, groundnut and potato are grown in this soil. That is about red soil. Alluvial soil 43%, red soil 19%. Right? I hope you have cleared with this point number 2. Moving towards third type of soil, that is the black soil. That is the black soil. Black or rigorous soil covers 15% of the total area of India. Underline the sentence. 43, 19 and black soil, that is 15. 43, 19, 15. આ રીતે તમે પહેલું સેન્ટેન્સ ડિફરન્ટ ટાઈપ ઓફ સોઇલ્સ નું યાદ રાખી શકો છો, રાઈટ? 43, 19 and black soil, that is 15. 15% of the total area of India. This soil was formed due to the spreading of decaying lava. Our soil ક્યાંથી form થઈ? Through lava. Through lava. Lava જ્યારે બહાર પડે ને એ બધી જગ્યાએ જે સ્પ્રેડ થાય, and when it gets fixed, right, એ જ્યારે એનું જે ગરમ હોય, જે લાવા જ્યારે બહાર આવતો હોય ને પછી કોઈ એક જગ્યાએ સ્ટેબલ થઈ જાય, when it stays for a place for a long point of time, એમાંથી scientifically process થઈને આ soil form થઈ, right? So it gets formed from the lava. A perfect black soil જો તમારે જોવી હોય, so you have to find it or you have to make an experiment or a research. Then you can identify how the black soil is being formed, right? But અત્યારે આપણે SS માં આટલું જ યાદ રાખવાનું છે that this soil is formed due to the spreading of decaying lava, right? Such soil is found in the entire Maharashtra region, that is the western Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and certain parts of Karnataka. Underline this sentence. This type of soil is being found in Maharashtra, western Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and certain part of Karnataka. Right? Underline this sentence. In Gujarat, ગુજરાતમાં પણ બ્લેક સોઇલ છે. કઈ કઈ જગ્યાએ? સુરત, ભરૂચ, નર્મદા, બરોડા, તાપી and Dang district have this type of soil. Have this type of soil, right? Lava rocks and climate play an important role in the formation of such soil. In the formation of such soil, there is more proportion of iron. જો આમાં કોઈ ડેફિશિયન્સી ની વાત નથી કે ખાસ ધ્યાન રાખજો. પોઈન્ટ નંબર 3 માં કોઈ ડેફિશિયન્સી નથી. પહેલા અને બીજા પોઈન્ટની અંદર ડેફિશિયન્સી હતી. આ ક્લાઇમેટમાં આ ટાઈપની સોઇલની અંદર આ વસ્તુ ઓછી છે. બટ બ્લેક સોઇલમાં શું કીધું છે? Climate play an important role in the formation of such soil and there is more proportion. They are not talking about deficiency, they are talking about more proportion. કે ભાઈ બ્લેક સોઇલમાં શું અવેલેબલ છે? More proportion of iron, lime, calcium, potash, aluminum and magnesium carbonates in this type of soil. In this type of soil, right? There is more proportion of iron, calcium, potash, aluminum and magnesium carbonate in this type of soil, right? It is considered to be quite fertile. It is considered to be quite fertile. What is fertile? Do you know? A kind of a soil where you plant or grow anything, that is you plug anything and it grows very fast, right? જો તમારા ઘરમાં ગાર્ડન હોય ને, right? એક નાનકડો એવો એરિયા જ્યાં ગાર્ડન હોય અથવા કોઈ સોસાયટીમાં કોઈ જગ્યાએ ગાર્ડન હોય, right? ત્યાં તમે જોજો બ્લેક સોઇલ જ હશે, કાળી માટી. Because it is very fertile. It is very fertile. જે વાવો ને એ ફટાફટ અંદર ઉગવા માંડે. That kind of nature it has. That is black soil. Because it has iron, lime, calcium, potash, aluminum and magnesium carbonates in this type of soils. Right? It is considered to be quite fertile. This soil also has the capacity of retaining more moisture, right? Has a capacity to hold moisture in its soil, right? Whenever the moisture dries up, જ્યારે પણ એ moisture જે છે એ hold કરે છે અને એ જ્યારે dry થઈ જાય છે, right? They develop fissures. That is crops like cotton, linseed, mustard, groundnut, tobacco and udad ની દાળ આવે, right? Are grown in this soil. Which are the crops which are being developed in this soil? Cotton, linseed, mustard, groundnut, tobacco and udad are being grown in this type of soil, right? As it is more suitable to the cotton, the soil is also known as black cotton soil. As it is suitable for the cotton, it is known as black cotton soil. Right? It is also known as black cotton soil. Right? So that is about black soil. આમાં કોઈ જ જાતની ડેફિશિયન્સીની વાત નથી કહી. Right? They have focused here, that is more proportion of iron, calcium, potash, aluminum and magnesium and carbonates in this type of soil. That means this soil is very fertile. This soil is very fertile, right? આમાં કોઈ સોઇલમાં કોઈ જ જાતની ડેફિશિયન્સી છે નહીં. You cannot find any kind of deficiency in this type of soil. That is the black soil, right? Moving ahead. And where it has been found? It has been found in Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and even in Gujarat. The places are Surat, Bharuch, Narmada, Baroda and Dang, right? Moving towards the fourth concept, that is laterite soil. Now, what is this type of soil? The name laterite is derived from the Latin word later, which means a brick. Int, which means a brick, right? જે ઈંટ હોય ને એમાં ઉપર એક નાના કણ હોય ઈંટ ઉપર, right? So that kind of thing. It is red in color due to iron oxide. It is red in color. ઈંટનો કલર તો તમને આઈડિયા હશે જ કેવો હશે, right? You have to see, right? So that is a brick. અને એમાં જે એક કણ હોય, that is the part of soil. Why it is? Because it is red. Why? Because it has iron oxide in it. It has iron oxide in it, right? When these soils become wet, it becomes smooth like butter, and when it is dry it becomes very hard. Right? ઈંટ હોય ને, ઈંટમાં જે કણ હોય ને, જો તમે એકવાર પાણી નાખજો એટલે એની ઉપરનો જે લેયર હશે ને એકદમ સોફ્ટ થઈ જશે, અને જેવું સનરેઝ પડશે ને ડ્રાય થશે ને એકદમ હીટ આપશે ને, રાઈટ, એટલે એકદમ સ્ટ્રોંગ થઈ જશે. ફ્લેક્સિબલ નેચર, રાઈટ. When the soil becomes wet, it is smooth like butter, and when it is dry, it becomes very hard. It is formed due to the change of dry and moist climate and due to preservation or prevention of silica-based material. This soil has developed in the higher area of peninsular plateau of India. This soil contains more of iron, potassium, and aluminum. Underline the sentence. Laterite soil contains iron, potash, and aluminum. Underline these three terms. The soil is less fertile. That means આ ટાઈપની સોઇલમાં તમે કંઈ વાવો તો બહુ ઓછા ચાન્સીસ છે કોઈ વેજીટેશન ડેવલપ થવા, રાઈટ. This type of soil is less fertile, but cotton, paddy, ragi, sugarcane, tea, coffee, cashew, etc. can be grown after using fertilizers. એમાં કેમિકલ્સ અને ફર્ટિલાઇઝર્સ એડ કરવા પડે ત્યારે આટલી વસ્તુ એમાંથી ડેવલપ થાય છે. But the nature of this type of soil is very less fertile. Probability બહુ ઓછી કે તમે કંઈ પણ વાવો આ ટાઈપની સોઇલમાં, so it won't give you the desired results. You have to add fertilizers and might be some different chemicals so that this type of crops, that is cashews, tea, coffee, that sugarcane, paddy, all these things, cotton, can be developed. Right? This is known as laterite soil. It is derived from the word, Latin word, that is later, which means a brick. Right? ખાસ ધ્યાન આપજો, આમાં કોઈ સ્ટેટ્સના નામ કે કોઈ જગ્યાના નામ આપેલા નથી. They have only focused over here in the terms of soil because it is less fertile, and it is not being specifically given in which particular states it is, right? So we have to just remember that it is derived from the word later, which means a brick, and when it is mixed with more water it becomes smooth like butter, and when it is being left in the heat it becomes very hard. It is less fertile, plus if there are certain chemicals or fertilizers which are being added, so we can develop cashews, coconuts, tea, coffee, sugarcane, paddy, etc. So this is all about laterite soil. Right? Moving ahead, what's the fifth concept? That is the desert soil. આ તમને concept ખબર હશે, રણ, desert, માં કઈ ટાઈપની soil હોય, right? So what it is? This type of soil is seen in the area where the climate is arid or semi-arid, right? જ્યાં વધારે dryness હોય. The soil is sandy and infertile. Sandy soil and infertile. કઈ બી વાવો ઉગે નહીં, right? You plant anything, it won't develop. It contains more dissolved minerals. Rajasthan, Haryana, and southern Punjab, that is the southern Punjab, have this type of soil. In Gujarat, this type of soil is found in Kutch. Underline the sentence. This type of soil is found in Kutch and some parts of even in Saurashtra. With irrigation facilities, crop like millet and jowar can be cultivated in this soil. બે જ crops ખાલી આમાં develop થઈ શકે. One is millet and second one is jowar. Right? It has been found in Gujarat and even in some parts of Saurashtra. And it is specially found in Rajasthan, Haryana, and the southern Punjab. Right? So this is all about desert soil. આમાં કઈ બીજી extra information આપેલું નથી because it is not fertile. Right? So this is about desert soil. Moving ahead, sixth, that is the mountain soil. This type of soil is found in the valley and the slopy regions of Himalaya. Mountain soils, right? Mountains માં જે ટાઈપની soil હોય એ ટાઈપની soil, right? If you might have been to the forest and mountains and some hilly regions, right? તમે જો એ બધી જગ્યાએ ગયા હશો તો તમે કદાચ એ ટાઈપની soil જોઈ હશે. That is found in the valley and the slopy regions of Himalaya at the altitude of 2,000 to 3,000 meters, right? 2,700 to 3,000 meters, right? Its layer is very thin and it is underdeveloped. Our type of soil કેવી હોય? Underdeveloped. Underdeveloped is just like a small child. You tell them anything, they'll do as per their own thing, right? એ ડેવલપ્ડ નથી. એટલે જેવું તમે કહેશો એવા એક્સપેક્ટેડ ઓર ડિઝાયર્ડ રિઝલ્ટ્સ એ ચાઇલ્ડ ના આપી શકે. સો સેમ સોઇલમાં પણ એવું છે, અંડર ડેવલપ્ડ છે. So we don't know if we plant anything whether it will grow, yes or no. That's a probability because it is underdeveloped. It is underdeveloped. This soil is found in Assam, Darjeeling, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir. આ જે કે place છે, they all belong to some slopy or the hilly area or the mountainous area. That is Assam, Darjeeling, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir. Underline all the particular names. In Himalayas, this soil is found at an altitude, that is the general altitude, in the regions of pine and chid trees, right? Pine and chid trees, these are the type of trees, right? Our trees પાસે આ ટાઈપની soil available છે. That is the mountain soil. That is the mountain soil. It has been found at a general altitude in the regions of pine and chid trees. Now what is pine and chid trees? If you are interested or if you are eager to know, you can Google it and you can see the images of pine and chid trees, right? અને એ આજુબાજુ એ જે ટ્રીઝ છે એની આજુબાજુ આ ટાઈપની soil available છે. That is the known as the mountain soil, right? So that is generally found in Assam, Darjeeling, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir, and it has been generally found at a height of 2,700 to 3,000 meter, and it is an underdeveloped soil. And it is an underdeveloped soil, right? So that is all about mountain soil. Moving ahead, forest soil. So we'll stop over here, right? So the last two concepts, that is forest and the marshy soil. What is the forest soil? This type of soil has been found with an altitude about between 3,000 to 3,100 meters. अगर forest soil तो आनाથી भी ऊपर जाए तो 3,000 to 3,100 meters. In the coniferous forest of Himalayas, Sahyadri, Eastern Ghats and Terai region of Himalayas, right? एकदम height ऊपर. The surface of the earth is covered by the shaded leaves of the trees and the upper part of the land becomes black due to the increase in humus caused by the decaying leaves, right? તમે વિચાર કરો ફોરેસ્ટ અને માઉન્ટેનિયસ એરિયાઝ હોય, રાઈટ? ત્યાં સનરેઝ નીચે જમીન ઉપર પહોંચી શકતા નથી. There are very few chances where the sun rays hits that earth because it is on a very high altitude. આખું કવર છે with the mountains, આખું કવર છે with forest regions અને ત્યાં એટલા બધા ટ્રીઝ છે કે એના પાન જ્યારે શેડ થાય એટલે પડે, રાઈટ? એટલે સીધા જમીન ઉપર પડે. And the sun rays falls on that particular shaded leaves and it does not directly reach the soil. So it becomes black. It becomes black. જંગલમાં તમે અંદર deep જતા રહ્યો, right? એટલે જો તમને black soil જોવા મળશે. When you go deep inside the jungle, you will find black soils. Why? Because the sun rays cannot reach directly into that soil. એટલા બધા trees, એટલું બધું dark છે forest કે એ sun rays નીચે પહોંચી જ નથી શકતા. Right? So this type of soil is being found in forest at a height of 3,000 to 3,100 meters, right? That is in Himalayas, Sahyadri or the Eastern Ghats and the Terai regions of Himalayas. The surface of the earth is covered by the leaves, right? જે ઉપરનો surface છે એટલા બધા trees હોય, so that is covered by the shaded leaves of the trees and the upper part of the land becomes black. હવે જે ઉપરનો જે part છે એ soil ની ઉપરનો part that becomes black due to increase in humus caused by the decaying leaves. એ જે લીવ્સ ઉપર હોય પછી એનું થર થતું જાય, એકની ઉપર બીજું પાન પડે, ત્રીજું પાન પડે, આખું જંગલ કવર થઈ જાય, રાઈટ? So that forest or the mountainous or the hilly areas which has been covered by the decayed leaves, right? અને એ પછી ધીમે ધીમે જમીનમાં અંદર જતા રહે, right? It changes into blue or red color even. It changes into blue or red color even, right? While going down within the land. It means તમે જેટલું dug કરો, જેટલું you go deep inside that kind of soil, you find blue or even red color while going down with this type of land. Besides, underline all these things. Tea, coffee, spices, different things, right? That is different elements. Or other crops like wheat, maize, barley, paddy, etc. are also being taken. That means this type of soil, આ સોઇલમાં આ બધું ડેવલપ થઈ શકે. This soil is found in limited area. This soil is found in limited area. Which soil is found in limited area? That is the forest soil. That is the forest soil, right? And moving towards the last concept for today, that is the marshy or petty soil. This type of soil develops in the humid regions due to the accumulations of biotic elements. જ્યાં humidity નું level બહુ વધારે હોય ત્યાં આ ટાઈપની soil જોવા મળે. That is known as marshy soil. Because of the biotic elements. So biotic elements માં ઘણી બધી વસ્તુ mix થતી હોય, right? In the air and environment or in the nature, and you know, dung and all these kinds of things, and different elements and are being, you know, mixed in the nature because it is a part of natural resources, right? And biotic elements બધા ભેગા થાય. Plus even the humidity, sometimes sun rays, sometimes, you know, winter, sometimes summer, sometimes monsoon, all these things gets together, and this is known as the biotic elements, right? See, next line. During rainy season, this land is submerged under water, and when the water recedes, paddy can be grown in it. Right? હવે જ્યારે monsoon હોય, that is during the rainy season, this land or this particular soil is submerged. એ પાણીની અંદર જતી રહે, right? Under water. And when the water recedes, that means જ્યારે પાણી સુકાય, તો એ જે માટી છે, right? એમાં paddy develop થઈ શકે. Paddy can be grown in it. There is an excess of biotic elements, એ બધું mix થાય છે, right? And minerals in such soil, but it shows insufficiency in phosphate and potash. Deficiency છે આ soil ની અંદર. તો કઈ વસ્તુ નથી? So that is phosphate and potash. Such soil is found in, underline, such soil is found in Odisha, West Bengal, coastal Tamil Nadu, central of northern Bihar, and in Almora district of Uttarakhand. This type of soil is available along these places. The soil has very limited extent. The soil has very limited extent, right? બહુ ઓછી જગ્યાએ આ ટાઈપની soil જોવા મળે છે. And what can be grown? Only paddy. Only paddy. And when the water level dries up, અને એમાંથી જે માટી હોય અથવા જે ગારા જેવું હોય, ભેજવાળું soil, right? એમાં આ paddy grow થઈ શકે છે. That is known as the marshy or paddy soil, right? So we are stopping the video over here. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can ask.